Welcome back, Panther fans. I'm David Brown here with Ryan Graham,
Hey, y'all.
Timothy J. Thurber,
Hello.
and this is State of Atlanta. I actually have no idea what your middle name is, Tim.
It's not that.
It's not a J.
No,
For
it is a
whatever
J,
reason-
actually. It is J.
It is a J. I nailed it.
It's just not J-A-Y.
Yeah. Did y'all hear like intro music? I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, but
It's weird.
sometimes I don't.
Yeah,
Huh.
I got the whole thing. I got the photo scrapbook and the. I mean, I would get it because it's local to me. So,
I
but, you know,
very often do not get it, but I got it this time.
All right. You're the lucky one.
I guess it only. That's why you were laughing when it comes in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just
But
like, what are we doing? Nothing's happening.
I think it's great that I had a 1 in 26 chance of getting your middle initial correct, and I nailed it. That's awesome.
Solid.
Yeah.
It's like you know my middle name somehow.
I mean, I feel like I've known you long enough that I should. Speaking of which, knowing each other long enough, episode 300 of State of Atlanta, 300
Woo!
weeks in a row.
Woohoo! Thumbs up. Do your
There are a
thumbs up
few
thing.
things I've done this consistently in my life. Been married, been a
Oh.
dad,
Mhm.
and a student at Georgia State for 6 years. That's about things that I've done that long.
Well, you can beat the student one, you know.
Oh, just keep on going longer. Yeah.
Yeah, we can beat that one. The other one.
I was a student for a long time.
Not gonna
I was
matter.
a student for a very long time.
So how many
7
years are we?
7 years
How many years are we
guy.
going?
The state way.
The state way.
I closed out the 90s and did the better part of the early 2000s. So
I think my little brother only went a semester over, and I'm like, man, how are you making me look bad? What are you
I
doing?
know. So I mean, obviously, Ryan, I knew you for a couple of years before the podcast. Tim, you and I kind of met right around the podcast starting, maybe a little bit beforehand.
Yeah.
Basketball tailgates and stuff like that. But yeah, Ryan, I remember when your brother started at Georgia State, and now he's graduated, and it just seems like
That's
didn't
insane.
he start last season, last year, 2
Yeah.
years ago?
Yeah, no,
And
I know.
he came to like what, one tailgate over his entire college career?
No games, I don't believe.
I didn't say game.
Yeah,
I did not say game.
yep. Yeah,
That's
I
crazy.
don't know, man.
And he was living on campus too, wasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. He just he's real. He's hard to get a hold of. He's notoriously the difficult sibling to communicate with.
Well, do you think that he's kind of representative of what students at Georgia State are like as far as it comes to athletics? Just kind
Oh,
of
maybe. Yeah, I mean,
Dial-
he would
dialed
tell
out.
me that they kind of shat on the program a little bit. As students in classes and stuff, they'd like laugh and make fun of stuff. So
It's great they take pride in university. Yeah.
I know.
know.
I know.
I think that's
feel like-
you're hitting on one of the problems. That is one of our issues, is that our students don't adopt their own school for whatever reason.
Yep. Well,
And I
and
know
the bigger problem is staff also does not. So you'll get like professors who join in on the making
Right.
fun of them game, and you're like, hey guy, like this is like you're supposed to promote your workplace, your university. I don't understand.
This is how you get fired at work. Right?
Also, these people, like they're your coworkers. They
Right.
want,
Like,
why are you not hoping for their success? I don't understand.
when I lived in Memphis, my stepfather, the guy that moved us down here to Atlanta, worked for Coke. That's why we moved down to Atlanta, was because he worked for Coke and got relocated down here. And there was a time back in Memphis where Pepsis were on like a super big sale, and so my mom picked up a 6-pack because my mom can never not just miss a sale. Like, she's got to buy. Like, something is on sale, my mom feels like that's their way of saying you must buy this. Like, everything.
Or she
Everything.
saved money by buying it. So
Exactly. Girl
true.
math back in the 80s. She had it nailed. Absolutely. Anyhow, but so she knew that she'd be in trouble if they had the Pepsis inside the house. She tucked them in the vegetable drawer, like behind. She doesn't eat vegetables. That's where I get it from. I don't know what she tucked it behind. Anyhow, some hot dogs or something. And she worked nights. She comes home like at 4 or 5 in the morning, gets in bed. And this is a story she told me. My stepfather just, like, out of a dead sleep, goes, "What are the damn Pepsis doing in the refrigerator?"
Ooh.
And my
I
point
love
of
it.
saying this is, like what you said, Tim, like this is like a company fires you for this kind of stuff. You know, you take pride in your product, you take pride in the company you're part of. The administration at minimum should be at least acknowledging them and not saying anything negative about it. But on the other hand, you know, I know that there are some really, really good athletic programs associated to schools that are really good in academics. Like there's some really, really good Power 5 programs that have really good academics and sports. But even if they don't you kind of want your school to be known for the sports a little bit? You go on that for that interview, you're talking to people, you want to have something that they can kind of connect you with, like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I saw when that coach's kid hit that shot, you know, at the buzzer, not was a buzzer beater, but hit the shot, and that was great. You can kind of connect on that kind of level. That's another way of connecting with a future employer, or networking is kind of event that you can tie the athletics of your school into getting you a foot in the door or something. It should be something that administration encourages, and students, I mean, they're students, but they should acknowledge this is a good thing. The better that Georgia State sports are, the better your degree is.
Yeah, D1 marketing, or D1 sports or football specifically, is one of the best marketing programs you can have at for a university, right? To like get the word out and get people knowing like that you even exist. But yeah, the better they do and the more favorably people look on that program that you're using to market the university, the more value your degree has. So why wouldn't you root for that? I just don't get it. It just baffles me.
It's sad. I mean, it's definitely one of the core issues of why we don't have the fan support we should have. I mean, we all beg for students to come to games. And when they do show up for an event or semi-event, like, it looks amazing. They sound loud, they're into it. But for some reason, you can't. I know there's an argument that's on Panther Talk. Everything has to be an event. I'm like, you can't make every home game an event. It's just not feasible for anyone.
Right. But you need to make those first. You need to make those first few games. You know, the first couple of games of football, the first several games of basketball need to be an event, so that they kind of get indoctrinated into doing it. Like, this is what we're doing. You know, we go to home games. That's just how we spend our weekends. But I don't know why anybody would not be, unless you're just not a fan of sports, like you just don't get into sports, which is, you know, a whole different level of people I don't want to hang out with. But, you know, why would you not want your program to be good? You would want your program to be the absolute best it can be, right?
Yeah,
I would think so.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I mean, so we got to figure it out. Like, the it's not for us to figure out. It's the school administration. They need to figure it out. It's athletics. They need to figure it out. I mean, taking pride in your university, taking pride in your athletic teams, that's why people show up to other schools to games.
I mean, it would be great if, like, we've got the whole Georgia thing overhanging on us. I don't really consider Tech a threat to anything, because people are going to be fans of Tech, or they're not going to be a fan of sports. Like, there's nobody that's going to be like, oh, I kind of like Tech. Like, that Georgia thing is always going to be there, overhanging. Kids that go to Georgia State grew up being fans of Georgia, or their parents being fans of Georgia, or just being the thing they see, because it is on everywhere. But we should get the media and everybody else involved and be like, hey, acknowledging you got Georgia State downtown here, just Georgia State University. We're in Atlanta, but we're the entire state. Like, come on.
Yeah, but all those kids aren't going to Athens on Saturday, right? I mean, like, not all of them. Some of them do. Fine, whatever. But like, but you can just pop on over to Center Park and have a tailgate. I don't understand.
Well, I went to Athens on Fridays because there was absolutely nothing to do at Georgia State back in the 90s and the early 2000s. So yeah, that's why I went there. But
I went and visited family. So
right. Yeah, I visited family too. Like my cousins, Jack Daniels, Jose Cuervo. I hung out with those guys. Natty Light.
I definitely went up to Athens a few times. I mean, it was good. It was good to go to a game. It was fun to drink basically almost anywhere, right?
Almost anywhere, and for dirt cheap.
Dirt cheap, yeah. That was dirt cheap.
That is one thing that really hurts the downtown programs, the urban universities, is you can't find those college town prices on booze. Like, that's.
Well, wait, what's Sensational Subs? They up their prices or something? What are we talking?
Sen Subs is not open at, like,
they sunset. Yeah.
10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, playing like club music where you're going to be picking up some shorties and whatnot.
And what was the other place we went to?
Why not? It sounds like something they should get into.
Sidebar.
Corner
like,
of the market.
Like 90210 when like they had the Peach Pit and they had to turn into Peach Pit After Dark to make it into the club scene.
They just didn't have enough budget for like another location.
Because that Max was it Max? I don't know. Max was the Saved by the Bell guy, but he had to just obviously just work there 24/7. He doesn't sleep. He just gets up at like 3, does breakfast, and goes to bed at like 3.
Gotta work hard, man.
Yeah. Oh well.
And then Sidebar was great to go to as well.
When I went to school there, I never went ever.
Sidebar is not welcoming to people anymore.
Oh,
what's that mean? I know they redid it, right?
I think it's like a private club now.
Oh, weird.
no.
Kim and I went to a concert, like a concert at Masquerade, which is down in Underground now. This is a year, 2 years ago. Like it's in that week. You know, there's always that week in like March or whatever we have in Georgia where like spring has already come. It's been like 68, 70 degrees. Then March has that 1 week that's like minus 17 or whatever, and just cold as shit. So it was that weekend. We went to a concert and we had gotten like VIP passes. So we got to go see who was Story of the Year, and we got to go meet the band beforehand. But there was like a break, like a 2-hour break in between the VIP session and meeting the band and them doing sound check and shit before you could actually get it back into the venue to be at the concert and everything. So they basically kicked everybody out. So I'm like, this is fine. There's an awesome bar right on Georgia State's campus that I used to go to all the time. I'm going to go take Kim and show her Sidebar. We walk in and like eyes darted at us like, what are you doing here? And the place looks like an Apple store. It's like clean, like white walls, white countertops, everything. I'm like, there used to be like a TurboGrafx 16 game console with like wired remotes that bartenders had to like dodge for people to play at the bar, the screen, the big tube television over the backdrop and everything. This is like completely different. We got like one drink and Kim's like, are we supposed to be here? I'm like, I don't think so. So we went to the pizza joint, Slice or whatever it's called, like on the same block. And
they've got pretty good drink specials too.
Yeah, they do. They have like they do like the $10 shot beer special. You get like a PBR and a Jameson for $10 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
How was Slice? You like it?
Yeah,
it's fine. It's yeah, it's like a family owned little place and it's good service, but it's
Sidebar does look weird.
Yeah.
I knew they redid it, but I didn't know to what end, you know.
It's all new ownership. It's not those Florida Gator people. I don't know if they still do the Florida, because it was a Florida bar.
Yeah,
of course.
Well, they also own Park Bar, but I don't know if they own that still either. But that's a pretty good place.
Park Bar
used to go there after when I worked at CNN. We'd go over there for drinks after
Park Bar. I like the 321.
Yeah, that's good shit.
Yeah, which is super expensive now. They used to be like $10 for a 321. I think now it's like $17 or something. It's absurd.
Gotta make their money somehow.
You know, in this economy, do what you got. I just wish that because they'd give them to you in those like little like thermos cups or whatever.
Yeah.
And like this makes me want to go walk through the park with this thing, but there's no open container. You can't do it. So
you can try. You know,
it's pretty obvious if you're walking through Centennial Park with a Park Bar
with a 321
that you're
what are they gonna do? Come on, be fine.
It's not what they're gonna do. It's what I'm gonna do when they come up to me and say, "Hey, sir, is there alcohol in there?" And then I just
no, it's water.
Why don't you tell me how I should answer that question?
Exactly. Which way gets me out of this the quickest?
I'm going to answer it whatever you tell me to say.
All right. Want to talk about some Georgia State sports?
What's going on?
So,
Georgia State sport. Well, I guess it's over. Baseball season has come to a close. The team needed. We talked about it last week. They needed to sweep Appalachian State in Boone to make the playoffs, make the Sunbelt tournament. They on Thursday they win 4-2. On Friday they win 20-10. They go into the Saturday just needing one more win to make the conference tournament, and they lose 4-5.
I mean, it's kind of like it's like our season, right?
Yeah.
did just enough to basically fall apart in the latter half of the season, and then just enough to come back, and then just enough to fall apart again.
Yeah.
I just think it's amazing how often in baseball, you play however many games they play in NCAA. It's a lot of
180.
games, right? It's a lot of
This
games.
we played 56 games.
56 games. 56 games. It came down to the last game.
The last game, right?
That's insanity. Like the chances of that being true are, I mean, we could calculate it. It's like
It
one in
shouldn't,
whatever half
though.
of 50 or whatever, 1 in 40 probably. I think is what it
Yeah.
probably is. Whatever.
Yeah,
But
and we had almost a half dozen games that were decided by one run in overtime in the conference across the season. If some of those games had gone a different way, we'd be talking about the fact that Georgia State was playing in the Sun Belt tournament today.
That's
Yeah,
why I hate it when baseball fans in the early season are like, the early season doesn't matter. I'm like,
No, it does.
Weirdly in baseball does. Because I feel like it happens all the time with like the Braves too. It's always comes down to like the last couple games, and I'm like, what the hell? How?
I saw it. So sidebar, I saw an interesting thing. I was looking at the Braves standings today because we started off absolutely just god awful, like lost the first 7 games or something like
Where
that.
we at?
So we're third in the NL East, and I think
I'll take it.
I think we lost tonight, so that doesn't help us. But we're third in the NL East. The Cubs are number 1 in the NL Central or whatever that stupid division's called. Vegas has us with better odds of winning the World Series. The third place NL East team has a better odds at winning the World Series than the NL Central number 1 team, Chicago Cubs, right now. It's like plus 1,500 for the Braves and like plus 3,000 or something for the Cubs. It's just crazy to me. There's a better shot we win the World Series than the Cubs.
I guess they just think we're gonna like surge ahead and make the playoffs.
Well, we got Strider and Acuna coming back within this following week. So, and they've had, I think, since I think the date is April 18th. They've had the best record in the National League and the third best record in baseball overall since the 18th. So, so past month, basically.
We're basically like left for dead at the beginning of the season. They're like, Braves are out. Forget it. It's over. Season's done.
We did lose the first 7 games, right? It was 0-7. So yeah. So no team has started the season 0-7 and made the playoffs. And now we're 5 games, maybe 5.5 now, back out of first place.
First, Mets or the Phillies?
It's probably the Phillies.
It's Phillies and Mets than us, right? One of the
yeah. We lost, and we lost the Nats.
The Mets will fall apart too. I mean, come on,
they always do.
Yeah, they're like an extension of Georgia State baseball.
God bless them. So with Georgia State baseball,
it's over. We made it.
It's over. Got some honors. Got a couple guys make the All Sun Belt teams. We got Caleb Freeman became the Sun Belt newcomer of the year. So you can just forget these names, him and Jesse Donahoe, because they'll go to another program, transfer portal. They'll go somewhere else next year. But at least we got that 1 year out of them here, right?
You got to get used to it, right? You just got to know that you got the players for at least a year. Well, not so much anymore. I guess some players leave halfway through.
I don't think they leave. They're still enrolled in school.
They just
how much NIL money is there in baseball? I mean,
it depends on the school.
Yeah, you probably do better in the minor leagues.
I think there's not a lot of money in minor league. Coastal Carolina,
a lot of money in NCAA and NIL. I wouldn't bet.
Yeah, well, at least with in college, you still get room and board paid for. You get food and
that's fair.
House, and you're getting an education out of it. You go to minor league, you're making like $17,000 a year, and it's up to you. But I think Coastal Carolina actually has a single collective just for their baseball program. So
cool. Well, speaking of perks of baseball, do we get any news from GSU Parking on the state of the baseball
I have heard nothing about whether or not it's closed down. I don't think it's supposed to have broken ground yet. They were just supposed to
they're just prepping.
Very, very Atlanta thing to do. Hey, we can't use this parking lot anymore because at some point we may use it for something else. But we're just going to close it off.
We're going to close it while we maybe plan on doing something else with it. Got it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's open. Let's see, Ryan, you moving out of Summerhill really cramps.
I need you to move back just for this,
or at least just every day.
I heard that people could hear that EDM concert from all the way in Kirkwood.
And Ed, well, yeah, Kirkwood as well. Kirkwood is
Wow.
I
further
heard
away.
Kirkwood, which I don't believe, but that's fine.
Yeah, no, it was all over our little social media groups, our little Facebook groups for the neighborhoods and stuff. People were losing their minds
I
about
saw
the
the
concert.
Summerhill ones, and I can't help but roll my eyes on them because I've been part of that group for quite some time, and they are some complainers. But it sounds like it was pretty bad, like
Well,
glassware rattling in the cabinets and stuff. Like,
it wasn't that bad here, and I'm where before you get to
So you could
Kirkwood.
hear it.
If you were outside, you could hear, or if you
well, I
turned
mean,
everything out.
Summerhill.
If you turned everything in Summerhill, if you turned everything off in the house and like just listened, you could hear it into the house, but like outside, you could definitely hear it. But people were just losing their man. There is nothing more toxic than neighborhood like Facebook groups or next door.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
people, they're the worst. People were saying like if you want to have a festival like this, just have it in a big open field. I'm like, that's kind of the benefit of living in a large metropolitan city is
you
that
don't
we
have to go
get these
anywhere.
exactly.
Also,
Shit
I
comes to
I
you.
got news for you. They did have it in a big open field.
And shit comes to you. Right?
Well, yeah, that, and I'm like, all right, so let's think about the other. Let's put this in 40 miles outside of Atlanta in some big, huge open field or whatever, and now you've got 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people. I don't know how many people were there, all leaving drunker and shit, driving back to the city. Oh yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
idea. That's fantastic. But no, at Center Park, they can Uber or they can walk up to MARTA or something like that. If you have a problem with living in the city, don't live in the city.
That's my thing. I remember the apartments that are like right closest to 20, like
Oh my
snuggled right
God.
up there. People in those townhomes would say they didn't want to approve those because they were going to block their view of the city. And I'm like, you live in the city. You don't like, what do you mean it's going to block do you understand how amazing it is that you live in the middle of a city and have a view of the city?
Right.
Like, that's crazy. That's unheard of in many cities in America. That's crazy. What are you talking about? Please let people build. Please.
Yeah.
Please. Housing prices are out of
Well-
control. Please let them build more.
Right.
But to the sound coming all the way down over here, apparently it was something with a perfect storm with the weather pattern, the temperature, the humidity, cloud coverage. Like it's just this perfect storm that is allowed music to carry. Because when
Oh, interesting. That's cool.
when things were first coming up, Kim had told me that some people were saying that it was coming from Center Park Stadium, and I'm like, I
No
don't
way.
care
That's
how
far.
loud those speakers are. Like that's.
And
I don't
across
believe it.
highways with all that noise happening and stuff.
Exactly. And like just the amount of trees in between. Just there's something that's going to definitely. But I guess it was with all the weather, it was able to bounce off the clouds and back down or something. I don't know. But
That's
Joey in our State of Atlanta private group chat said when he was living in DC, they had a concert. And it was the same type of situation with the weather, and they had glasses rattling 5 miles away from a concert that was going on, and it wasn't about excessively loud speakers. It was just perfect storm of allowing the sound to travel.
That's crazy.
Well, hey, we used to get paid for this, right?
Yeah, it was outside. It was not inside the stadium. It was on the bricks.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
More wild.
Because that was the biggest thing the Summerhill people were complaining about. I
It
saw
wasn't
is that
in the stadium.
they weren't. No, they said that they needed the speakers to face away from the neighborhood, and that's always been a long-standing request from them. And so if they weren't respecting that, and that's not okay. I'm like, oh, guys, just calm down. It's some music. And it is going to be over at 11. Like I know that's late for a lot of people, but that's not like late, right? That's not like you lost your entire evening's sleep. That's 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I agree.
Whatever.
Well, I mean, if you guys ever like stayed in New York City in a hotel that's like not 20 stories up.
Oh, with
Like,
sirens nonstop all the time, and
It was
all
like-
of the noise, the city noise.
I would rather there be music I don't like playing than hearing like just police and fire and ambulance sirens
Mhm.
going on consistently the entire time. So yeah, not that bad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess we still made money off of it, though. That's good, right?
Yeah, I'm generating some revenue.
And honestly, like the more events we can get there, the more events we'll get there. You know what I mean? Like it'll ramp up because people it'll spread.
Yeah, it becomes a common venue, like or a common place, like when a band comes or an event
Is that gonna
happens.
be at Center Park?
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing now when you hear about someone coming. Like, oh, is that going to be at the Lakewood? Is it going to be at the whatever they call it? What's it called in the Florida now?
Oh, I don't know. The classic
Ameris Bank, Ameris Bank, or something
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
it is. That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
or Chastain, like you, or State Farm, like or
Chastain. Yeah, there's Chastain too.
Yeah, you always like you know these places by name. Like, oh, is it going to be this place or this place or this place? Yeah, Center Park needs to be in that conversation. We're just to play. Hey, hell, so does the Convocations. The box needs to be right up there as well. Like it just needs to
It'd be
be
an
a
awesome
place.
venue and enclosed and not super loud for the neighborhood. It'd be a
Yeah,
great
it's not going to echo out anywhere.
Just they should put it in the arena. Can you imagine? Oh my god!
So do you think that if they do concerts at the box, that they should actually put the stage opposite the window, so you have the window behind you, or do you?
I don't know.
It reduces the number of seats because you have like if you do that, you have the upper level that could look at. But I would hate to be the concert. If they do a concert there, they need to like not put a backdrop. You need to have that window still available to be seen.
Just having been to like a graduation, I'm pretty sure that's what they do. I mean, that's what they do for the graduation. I'm sure that's what they would do for this concert is put the backdrop in front of the window.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose of having that window there is to have that awesome ass view. Could you imagine like a great artist, especially like an Atlanta artist, performing right there, and like all the pictures and everything are that artist up there just rocking it out, and then you just see like
Atlanta
the city skyline right behind it. How awesome of a video! I have no idea how well it would come out, but in my mind, it's awesome.
Looks good in pictures. I don't know.
Yeah, in my mind, Georgia State's awesome. So
I want to get in your mind.
Yeah,
we need to figure out how to get your mind into all the students.
You're awesome, TJT.
Oof. I don't know, Tim. That seems like maybe a bad idea.
Can you imagine 50,000 Davids?
Bunch of little Davids running around.
I got 3 of them, so
it's true.
They'll hit their rebellious phase and get better.
I don't think I ever had a rebellious phase. I think I was just I was overly confident. I was overly I was that kid. I thought I was that more mature kid than I was. Like I know that at 16 there other kids are doing this, but I got a job and I look back at myself. I was a dweeb. I had no idea what I was talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about now. So
just make it up as you go, right?
Make it till you make it.
Exactly. All right. Real quick, back to baseball for a second. I commented in the group chat once we lost that game on Saturday that I think it was best that we did not make the tournament. And Tim, I think you commented as probably for the best as well.
It was.
That was just kind of my gut reaction. I'm not sure why I feel that way. You could make arguments about saving money for travel, blah blah blah, or just putting the nail in that coffin. Let the season be over and let's focus on the next season with a potentially new ballpark. In Summerhill. Yeah, we'll see. Well, that's why I said potentially, but I don't know. I was kind of ready for the season to be over with.
Yeah, going in as the 10th seed, we're not quite stable. I mean, how far do you think you're going to get? You might win your first game against the 7th seed, and then
Appy did not into. It was today. Appy played today. They lost 3-0 against Texas State. That could have easily been us, or we could have actually won the game. I don't know. I don't like how the tournament. I don't like baseball is talked about as being like this series. It's supposed to be a game of series. You're not supposed to have just one game. There's other one-offs. Like all season long in the MLB, it's always 3 games in a series, sometimes 4. You get the weird 2-game series or whatever. But then we go into a tournament and it's do or die, single elimination. It doesn't make sense to me. I know it would be a lot longer, but
it's way too long. Well, you'd have to just have less teams, right? You couldn't have 10.
You shouldn't have 10. And in that case, you should probably take your top 6, something like that, top 4.
Should have taken I mean, for like even in our baseball tournament, which for a period of time I thought was the top 8 teams, just take the top 8.
I mean, we already have 2 teams probably the Sun Belt probably has 2 teams making the World Series, the College World Series. And was it Southern Miss and Coastal, I think?
Coastal,
are like 11 and 12 in the nation, And then I think Troy's been playing well. There was some chatter on the message board, Sunbelt message board, like they want
They want
Troy
get
to
Purdy
win.
in.
If Troy wins,
They gotta get
then
in. Yeah.
they get in, and then number 11, number 12 probably are auto bids, or not auto bids, but automatically make it in as well. So it could have 3 Sunbelt teams in there. Sunbelt's a pretty good baseball conference.
Yeah, it's a really good baseball conference. I don't hate the idea. I mean, we should want to get as many teams into the tournament, but just get them in because they're a good team. Don't sneak in.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
I heard the message was that Troy's kind of not falling apart, but falling off a little bit towards the tail end of the season.
I have no idea how they did at the end. I don't pay close enough attention. I don't pay attention to the Sunbelt teams unless I absolutely have to.
Just Coastal and Southern Miss. I don't know. You can't if you ever open any of the forums, it's always them constantly. Right. And then Troy in third. Right.
Yeah, Southern Miss is historically a good baseball program from what I understand. And Coastal obviously, started getting good right before they joined the Sun Belt. And I think Lafayette's supposed to be pretty good too, normally.
Yeah. It's a strong conference. Like the top 8 teams. I mean, everyone beat everyone up.
Yeah. I think it was Southern Miss didn't lose a series all season or something like that.
Wow. That's impressive.
A conference series. I'm not sure if it's overall, but they didn't lose. I think that's correct. I mean, that's all I got for Georgia State news or Georgia State sports. We're entering the dead zone.
I know we talked about this before, but like the baseball tournament, that seems to be a hot topic with Sunbelt.
Yeah.
Where do you put it? Do you really think if you move it somewhere, will it do significantly better in attendance or just marginally?
So there's apparently like in the Gulf area. I don't know if it's in Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, whatever, like Gulf Shores or Biloxi, one of those places. There's a one of the casino areas that has like 6 or 7 baseball fields by the hotels. Yeah. Why not try it there? You tempt me in May with a beach trip, even if it's a golf, even if it's like a, the redneck beach area, with that, a casino and like quality fields for watching some games. Not a bad idea. Within Montgomery right now, right?
A lot of other vacations ahead of that.
Yeah. But if you wanted to make something into a Georgia State, a college, also got to remember, Ryan, we are an anomaly. Georgia State's an anomaly. These other people, they live in Lafayette and Monroe and Jonesboro and Huntington. Like, they going down to Gulf Shores for a weekend is like their Hawaii to us.
I mean, I guess I understand because I love Savannah, so I mean, I guess I get it.
Savannah's better.
I mean, Savannah's amazing. So,
yeah. I mean, I get it. Montgomery isn't the sexiest place in the world. Let's be honest. I mean, you guys were there for the bowl game, right? Like, what was there? Nothing.
Well, the Capitol? I don't know, man.
There you go.
I was so surprised. I was like, what the hell is this place?
See?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
there's a Waffle House there. I had Waffle House there.
Come on. Like, what is there to Alabama, really? Yep. Birmingham, which is like just getting better, but who really cares about Birmingham?
You guys say all kinds of nice things about Birmingham.
I enjoy it. I enjoy Birmingham, but let's not like, the South is weird. Like, there's nothing good about the South as far as big cities go, other than Atlanta and Nashville.
Charlotte.
Hard pass. Charlotte's all right, but like
it's
Charlotte is, I guess, on par with Birmingham.
Yeah,
and maybe slightly better. They have an NFL team, kind of. It's the Panthers. Yeah, all right. I'll give the edge to Charlotte. Yeah, Charlotte.
And Florida doesn't count, right? Florida's not the South.
No, I mean, the Panhandle. You can kind of
some of the Panhandle is
the Panhandle should be its own state. The Panhandle should be its own, and they should name the state Florida Man. Like that's really where Florida Man exists, is the Panhandle, right?
The Central Florida, like the internal Central Florida, the long Central is also like weirdly the non-coastal Florida is like
Right.
also a bunch of weirdos.
It
Man.
is Florida Man there too.
That those are
Yeah, okay.
swamp people. Yeah.
So it's the inland Florida. It's the
Mhm.
yeah.
I mean, look, I wouldn't be against them moving the tournament to Biloxi. I don't think it's going to make me go to it. Even if we're in it, unless we're in like the last rounds, like the semis.
If we're in the top, what is it? I guess it would have to be, if there's 10.
Top 4?
Yeah, well, I was going to say top, was it 6? Top 6? Top 4. Top 4, yeah.
I don't think I'd be there, guys.
No? Gambling. We could go watch baseball, Ryan, and we can go gamble and drink and just repeat that cycle.
I hate gambling.
If we were golfers, it'd be another good reason to go. I'm not a golfer. I couldn't care any less about golfing.
And bet on covers like dad stuff for me, you know? I'm like,
yeah, I should. Cool. I'm not into it.
I'm just kidding.
A barbecue competition, Ryan. We'll do a barbecue competition going on. There you go.
We should give a shout out. But go ahead.
I was just gonna say I did salmon last weekend and it's awesome. I've been just munching on it nonstop. Just open it up in the fridge and just eat it right out of the container.
Munching on the fish.
Yeah, it's great. It's good stuff.
Tacos.
Tacos.
No, just
some creamy tacos with the salmon, the fish.
Two different tacos. It's 2 different foods. Or same time.
No, I was saying we should give a shout out to the College Huddle. They just commented.
Oh yeah, they
support for the support. We support you. So thanks for the comments.
Boom.
Yeah, the College Huddle.
Yeah,
the largest collection of college focused podcasts in the nation,
and we're one of them. Boom.
We are the one representing, and they don't have anybody represent Georgia Southern. So
double boom.
I did ask for veto power. I was like, I just want to be able to veto one school program. I'm like, no.
But I'm not telling you who.
Yeah. Apparently, I guess whatever TDS podcast is out there thinks they're too good to be part of the huddle. So they keep on turning
Sounds about right. That sounds exactly right.
The Black and Gold, I talked to those guys about it, and they thought there was no benefit to them by joining the huddle. So they think they're too good for the huddle.
I mean, everyone loves a good cuddle. So
hey, the cuddle huddle.
They're missing out.
Cuddle. Yeah. All right. So now we're just rambling. There was an article I saw tonight before we came on that I think is actually kind of interesting to talk about. It's just about the power conferences flexing their might even more. So they met and they have some ideas, some proposals, something they want to do. Basically, it's the Power 4 conferences creating their own enforcement board,
the CSC
board. You know what I'm talking about, CSC. Yeah, which I think is kind of funny that it's literally the security guards of like all sporting events. The CSC, and this is what is it called? The College Sports Commission.
Commission, yeah, I don't know.
College Sports Commission. And so basically, what it is, Ryan, is basically it's the conferences, the Power 4 conferences, all agreeing to certain rules, certain things they're going to abide by, like revenue sharing, NIL deals, roster limits, the way the things are going to operate within the sports. And this is just the Power 4 conferences. These are things that they're going to do, and they would have complete control over it. The G5, G6 conferences are not subject to it. This is like the College Sports Commission is effectively the NCAA, but just for them.
And they'd have to meet the teams have to meet minimums too, right? I think it was in the article. Yeah,
right. Yeah. Well, it's basically the contracts signing the conferences signing a contract saying with each other that we're all going to operate on the same playing field. We have a level playing field that we're going to do. But it's like some of the interesting things are they could call it uniform enforcement. So that if your state's laws allow for things that are not allowed for in the College Sports Commission that you agree to
Not to
follow
do
the
'em.
commission, not your state's laws.
Hmm.
Like Tennessee apparently has a law on the books that says that no Tennessee university can be subject to a law that, or is it not a law, subject to enforcement from an organization that has rules different than their own rules, like regarding NIL and stuff like that. But this is way basically Tennessee would be saying, regardless of what the state says, we're still going to adhere to what the conference or what we've assigned as far agreed to as part of the conference.
What if the conference is more permissive than the state?
I think it's a good question.
All right, cool.
I think they'd probably have to keep. I mean, I think the whole point is to keep it all equal, right? So,
Right.
it's
So they
almost
would
like
they would set up rules that would set, if they wanted to be more permissive than any given state, they would probably just set it up to be exactly as permissive as the least permissive state,
right up to
Right.
right up
Right.
to the line.
theoretically,
Right.
or they just boot Tennessee out.
Well, so
Yeah.
that's also that's part of it is like, all right, so one of the things is a binding agreement that schools not adhering to the agreement they sign are subject to be excluded from the power conferences. That's this whole thing. It's all about the power conferences. It's all about how they operate. This is just saying, to be a member of a power conference, you must agree to all of these things. And also part of it is that I find this very interesting, a legal waiver saying you have no authority to file a lawsuit against the College Sports Commission against any of this kind of stuff. You sign away, you have a waiver signed, you can't disagree with anything once you sign it.
That's weird.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to make their own little government.
It's their own little subset of things outside of NCAA. Of course, the G6 conferences are not subject to any of these rules. A
Do they
school.
have examples of the rules?
It's just what they in this are in the article. There's about revenue sharing, NIL deals. What was the other thing they talked
Just
about?
more structure around them, basically, because I guess they would have
Yeah.
to be more restrictive than the NCAA for it to really matter. They can't be like, oh well, these programs have more benefits, or they're
It's not that I don't think it's necessarily that it's more
they already
restrictive.
do
It's
that, but
just that they're all going to agree to operate on a certain level. Like we're all on the same page. The NCAA can do whatever the NCAA wants to do, but we
Right.
all agree. If you're a member of these four conferences, you're going to all operate under the same guidelines, under the same rules.
still within the bounds of NCAA guidelines, though.
I don't think they give it. Well, the
They create
playoffs.
the NCAA. They create the NCAA guidelines. So
Yeah. The NCAA is in charge of all college athletics, from Ohio State and Georgia and Alabama all the way down to the Division threes or whatever they've got. So
but they're not going to say like, all right, one kid can only make $10K a year in NIL. I know that's not something that's happened, but like NCAA would set that rule. They wouldn't then say that our college whatever council is going to allow 20K per student just for us. It would have to be like within the bounds of what they're in the NCAA box still.
I don't think so. I think that this is their way of just ignoring everything that NCAA does. But this is for football right now. It's just football exclusively, to my understanding.
I think so. Yeah, that's what
I would imagine that after a year, they're going to absorb basketball into it as well, or men's basketball, and they may pull women's basketball into it just to like try to avoid a lawsuit or something.
They'll cancel March Madness.
It better not ruin my favorite thing. I know they want.
That's one of the conversations we had. Is like, all right, so now do they allow the G6 conferences? And hell, there's a lot of really good basketball programs out there that are non-football playing conferences.
They're gonna ruin all of this, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah,
They're on that.
very possible.
Like within a decade.
So I was thinking about it.
Within, yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking like 3 years or less.
So if they're restricting themselves, and who knows what the NCAA is going to do to respond, but like that doesn't stop the G6 schools or G6 conferences from doing their own thing. And like, all right, well, we're gonna pay our players as much as we want to pay them. It won't be as much as what they're going to get paid up at these power conferences, but they can start separating a little bit. Schools that have a little bit more money start doing whatever they want to do, kind of setting themselves up for being that, hey, if someone can't do it up there and gets knocked out, we come in, or maybe we become enough of a brand that we can make it up into almost like a relegation type style. I guess not relegation, because I've never.
That'd be nice. I would like relegation. So
relegation would be good,
but they're not going to do it.
I shouldn't have said relegation. I'm saying, like, if Vandy couldn't cut the mustard, that a Liberty, who, and I'm not saying Liberty because I want them to.
Man? Come on, man.
Just because they've got God's pocketbook, so they have the money to actually do the stuff, or a school like Boise State that has a lot of funding coming through,
right?
Or
the real losers in all this.
Where did Elon Musk go to college? Did Elon Musk go to a college that had a sports program?
He probably didn't. He's one of those misunderstood geniuses type of people.
Like MIT or something.
He probably just didn't go anywhere. I don't know.
But he moved here before college, right? I know he's from South Africa, but he moved here before college.
I think he did.
He went to college here, right?
His money's PayPal, right? It's PayPal founding.
That was his original thing. Yeah,
he probably did that in college. I'm just bullshitting about the.
But the reason why I was saying that Elon Musk was just basically, unless some alumnus that has is a billionaire that can be like, all right, cool, I want to get my program up there. I'll just give them everything they possibly want until there's a spot in the power conferences. I don't know.
Yeah,
making shit up now.
I don't know. The real losers in all this are going to be FCS, because they're going to be like even more pushed down, right? Like we are going to be the new FCS because we were promoted is going to be the only reason we didn't slip down even further, right? So it's
right. But how much of a distinction does the average fan have between non-power conference and FCS at that point?
Well, the distinction is they've heard of us.
Hell, how many people you talk to outside of the state of Georgia? Hell, in the state of Georgia, that asks you if Georgia State's Division I yet?
I mean, a solid quarter of people ask me how UGA is doing. So
you're like, they're good, I guess.
They ask me about the Bulldogs when I say I went to Georgia State, and I'm like, oh, cool. Well, they seem to be doing all right.
Anyone in the P4 realm probably struggles a bit understanding there's other football outside of that area.
Yeah,
totally. I mean, FCS struggling. I don't know. Who cares? Like,
that's what I'm saying. It's already rough.
Oh, I don't care.
This is like a whole. This is like adding a whole nother layer between.
Well, but speaking of FCS, so what if? So if the College Sports Commission is going to do their thing, and you get your G6 conferences under the NCAA, and they're they could do we could do our own agreements. What if the G6 conferences all came to an agreement as well that said any player that signs with us, they sign a contract that says academically you can go to any school you can transfer to any school you want to. We are not going to hold you back on what academic you can do. But if you want to play sports, specifically a sport that you're under scholarship for here, if you want to go to one of these power conferences to do it, that you can only do it if they compensate us for you going up there. So, like,
that's a smart move.
It's like, say, like, all right,
we might forfeit our championship spot in the.
Well, I mean, I think at this point, I think once they're negotiating things on their own, I think that the G6 spot going into the college football playoffs is gone. I think that's going to be really, really quickly. They're going to get rid of that.
Yeah,
frankly, I'm surprised it's lasted this long.
Right? I know. We're 4 years in, and we're already surprised that it's been here that long. 3 years in.
Yeah.
So
they'll just say, "Look, make it in the top 16, you get in." All right, that's it.
But I think that's really so. What if we had this agreement, basically kind of taking it back to what the old rules were about? You can move from FBS to FCS and no downtime, but from FCS to FBS, you had to sit a year. What if we said, all right, you either have to wait a year to play or you owe us $1 million for anybody that moves up. And then that school that Ohio State's got to pay for that Georgia State kid. I'm just going to say Missouri or Auburn, people that have actually taken our players. They owe us $1 million if they want a kid to transfer up there because he's under contract.
I think
Either he pays.
contract buyouts are necessary in this world we live in right now, and that is how G5 programs are gonna step up. I think once it's allowed. I don't even know if it's allowed right now, but I do know that they are talking about going in that direction, and they should. And I think that'll be good, and that'll be a very good my complaints about like having coaches able to move around and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's a very good for lack of a better word, free market type solution to it, saying like, hey, you signed a contract. Yeah, you can leave. You're free to leave. But you did sign a contract that says, the school that came in to get you, they now owe us X number of dollars. Like that's the cost of doing business here.
Ryan, I really expect you to fight me on this one.
On which one?
On us getting on the concept of the power programs paying the G6 programs.
I've been talking about contracts with buyouts for a long time.
I know. I just really thought you'd fight me on it.
Just make them.
I'm not you, David. I don't just fight for the sake of fighting.
I do that.
You said you do.
I did say they do.
Just make them employees, right? Don't go to school anymore. Why?
I mean, that's the only kind of retribution you have. But that'd be kind of cool, though. Like, all right, it kind of gives you a reason to
develop talent or find the diamonds in the rough and let them showboat and get pulled up, and you get that finder's. It's basically like a finder's fee.
Yeah, a developmental type league,
and now you're going to pay us for our development.
Yeah. But it'd have to be an agreement across all of the G6 conferences that this is what we're going to do.
No,
only because the reason why I say that is like, within in our region, if we're offering a kid and we're saying you've got to sign this contract that you can only go to a power conference if they pay us $1 million, and they're like, oh, well, I could go to Kennesaw State, ball out, and they don't have the conference. State does not have that same contract. So I think that all G6 conferences have to like get on the same page of like, we're all going to make our players sign this.
I think they would. I don't even think you'd have to force them. I mean, I don't think you'd have to even set that as a condition or anything like that. People would want to do that because it does suck. I mean, we've experienced this now in multiple sports, and everyone is experiencing this across the board of having just a brand new team every year for the last 3 years now in every sport. And it's like, what the hell? Like, I don't know any of these players. None of them. They're all gone.
That was the fun thing about college sports was like, every 3 years figuring out a new position. Like, you'd have a guy for 2-3 years. And like,
you didn't have to do it all at once,
Right. No, it was cycling. So like, we've had this running back for 3 years, but this wide receiver is a freshman, or this quarterback's been here for 4 years, and now we've got this new defensive prodigy that's just like sacking people like crazy. But yeah, you're always kind of like, it's exciting. It was always something new. Whereas with the NFL, granted, there's a lot of trades and movement and people whatever, but like you have your quarterback who's been there for Tom Brady was there for 40 years or some crap like that. You just sat there for decades.
And even if they go somewhere else, it's the same players, just in different configurations. They're like, oh, now he's wearing green instead of blue. Whatever. Like, he's the same guy.
David, you're just making me miss what the NCAA was.
I literally put that in my notes, like basically going back to what it used to be with the FCS, FBS movement.
I mean, you're making me miss it. You're making me miss like, man, if we had this quarterback for one more season, like there's none of that anymore. Like showboat, you're out. I mean, not in a bad way. You're getting paid, right? And then it's like, ooh, what do we get next? I guess somehow I got to convince myself that I'm so excited every year to have a whole new team.
Which is like, basketball has been like that. Like
I know
I can't keep track of who's on the basketball team any longer. It's a completely new roster every single season.
We have 2 new head coaches or assistant coaches as of today.
Not head coaches. I wish I could.
In what sport? In
basketball.
Oh, I missed that.
We hired Jeff Dunlap and Stevie Taylor from
great hires.
Stevie Tyler.
Stevie Tyler is from
Steve Tyler.
Toledo.
I was like, come on, those parents were Aerosmith
Yeah.
fans, right?
Maybe. He's from Toledo, director of operations, and then Dunlap, Mr. Jeff Dunlap, was from somewhere.
Obviously, operations was the reason why we were not winning games. We had to replace that coach. Had to bring him in.
Cal State University, Northridge, from 20 to 25. He's an assistant coach. So, I
Cal
mean,
State-
both coaches came from programs with pretty good winning records over the last few years. So, hey,
is Toledo good?
take it. Apparently, Toledo was
The Rockets.
the
Nebraska
Rockets.
Rockets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there Rockets in Ohio? In Toledo?
27 win campaign last season, captured a third straight outright Mid-American Conference title. So he also coached as an assistant at Nichols in 21-22.
Nichols State.
Just as Nichols.
I think Ohio does claim first in flight. I don't think it's because of Rockets though.
No, it's the
The Wright brothers are from there.
Wright brothers were from Dayton,
Something like that. Something
but
like that.
they just did their shit and not in Kitty Hawk. Kill
It's
Devil Hills.
it's a little of a bit of a stretch. Ohio claiming that they were the first because the Wright brothers are like from there. I'm like, guys, a little stretch.
Well, I mean, like they took their plane down to Kill Devil Hills. Is actually where the first flight was. It was not. It was not in Kitty Hawk. It's just back in that time, the more religious everybody was. The name Kill Devil Hills was not going to sell well in the newspapers.
You're killing the
So-
devil there. It's fine.
Kill it.
Great. That's great. That's good. That's a holy place.
No, you should never kill.
The devil, yeah, you kill that guy.
Oh, God didn't kill him.
That's true.
God has banished him to torture for eternity.
Not even.
Man, we're way off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're an hour in
But
too,
hey-
with nothing, with no topic.
No, I'm just happy that we have two new assistant coaches. Something different.
Yeah,
Look, what we had wasn't working. Two new assistant coaches. Who knows? Maybe that'll be a good, nice little spark.
Well, I saw that Jarvis's son is like a top recruit in the state. So maybe Jarvis should be the head coach because obviously he knows how to get talent out of kids.
but it's actually it's telling college level athletes to keep their hands up. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What? No, Tim. It was there was a game. I at least one game where I just saw them out there like coaching the players during a game, during an NCAA D1 game to keep their hands up.
I mean, Hunter would do that too. To be fair,
Like, guys,
he would.
all right, that's fair.
He would get on the court too. So I mean, we did need that. He was the sixth man.
Anyone that was
That's
surprised that Coach Hunter had his hip replaced at whatever hell he was, 50 years old, is never watched Coach Hunter coach a game because he was pounding those boards so hard with his just slam on it. Like he's gonna need a knee replacement or a hip replacement or something. Like he was just like
He was all up.
that was his thing. So that was my thing. Coach Hunter was just pounding the floorboards. Don't act like that's a sexual term, Ryan.
Ryan, say a word, man. I'm just looking.
We're just listening. Keep going. Tell us more.
Tell me what else is he pounding?
What was his thing? Was it the wine? Was Hunter the wine?
Why did cheese crab? That's what we were.
Was Hunter the wine and the Coke? Or was that Elliot? Elliot was a wine and Sprite, or
What are you talking about?
Hunter called us the wine and cheese crowd for sure.
wine and cheese crab. But one of the coaches like that, their drink of choice was like wine and Coke or something.
Ugh, what's that?
Gross.
Apparently, it's an Italian thing.
Sounds
Is that what
disgusting.
they said?
A buddy of mine went to Italy, and he's like, people are walking around drinking like 1-to-1 red wine and Coca-Cola, and I was like, well, I'm going to the grocery store and I'm buying a bottle of wine and a bottle of Coke, and I'm drinking it. Better than
Yeah.
a Bloody Mary, I'll tell you that much.
Mm.
No, thank you.
Are we
So
done
we're
here?
excited. We're excited though. We have 2 new assistant coaches. We're excited.
Yes,
We need
yes.
some glimmer of hope for the basketball team.
We'll
Yeah.
see how we'll see how it comes together in the fall, right?
Yeah. Woo.
All right. Tim, you want to take us out of here?
Sure. Thanks for listening. We're going to take a quick break here, heading over to Last Call. If you like what you heard or you didn't, join our Patreon anyway at patreon.com/State of Atlanta. You'll get live access to our Last Call, group chat action, bevs at tailgates, access to merch discounts. We always have good merch on. Wait, we don't have any merch on today. Damn. And more. It's just $5 a month, and you can support the show. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Peace.